I sent my cheating wife a cake with a photo of her and her boss to her office to expose the affair. Now I worry the revenge may hurt my divorce case. I discovered her secret after months of emotional distance and a dead bedroom. Gathered proof, and with my lawyer's warning echoing in my head, went for a move that blew up her work life. I'm Mark, 33M, and I was married to my wife, Amy, 31F, for 5 years. Emphasis on was. When we first met, it actually felt like we clicked on values, ambition, and even our financial approaches. I'd gone to a trade school, worked my way up in programming, and by the time we got married, my skills and job history mattered way more than my lack of a degree. Amy, on her part, had a master's and worked in management. There was always this tension about that. Maybe competitive, but sort of friendly, or so I thought. Back when we were dating, I used to gripe about how useless middle management was. For me, they just got in the way and created more work. Amy had the total opposite view and would defend management. Even my boss she'd never met. Her comment was always, "He sees things you don't." Eventually, I learned it was easier not to talk about my work drama with her, unless it was good news. Amy wanted me to go back to school for a 4-year or a graduate degree, but when I showed her what the debt would look like, she dropped it. We both came into the marriage practically debt-free, and we were about even on salary. Things really changed 2 years ago when I took a job where the owner valued me and paid me. By now, I make about 50% more than Amy, and my boss is genuinely a great supervisor, not some paper pusher. First 4 years, our marriage was solid. She didn't push the degree thing. I stopped resenting about managerial nonsense. We had date nights, shared books and hobbies, cooked together. Lockdown just made things weirder. When COVID-19 hit, both of us worked from home. I set up in my office, she had hers across the hall. I treated it like real work. Up early, breakfast, suit. Literally the whole thing, even though I hate suits. Amy rolled out of bed into sweatpants, played Candy Crush between meetings and emails on her iPad. Still, I didn't push. She became more distant. Almost like being so close all day made us feel farther apart. Her meetings were constant, door wide open. I could hear every call. I had a daily scrum meeting, kept my door shut for focus. And she suddenly acted insulted that I had my door closed. When I explained it was just for quiet, she insisted it felt like I was hiding something. Our hobbies faded. She brushed me off with, "We see each other all day anyway." Then, when her company reopened with partial return to the office, Amy pushed to get back as soon as she could. She started staying out late, drinks with coworkers, and got super secretive. At home, it was like we were barely married. Then, a month ago, the bomb dropped. On a weekend, Amy handed me her old iPad and casually asked, "Can you wipe this? I want to give it to my niece." That's the kind of thing I do for our relatives all the time, no big deal. She left for another company gathering, and I powered it up. For some reason, whether out of carelessness or just feeling invincible, she left all her messages on there. I was floored. There were messages, pictures, everything. Amy had been sleeping with her boss for 2 months. I can't tell you what that horror feels like. My whole body went cold, my brain blanked. I copied it all, stored it somewhere only I could access. Then I immediately started looking for a lawyer. My lawyer told me to keep quiet, keep gathering evidence, and recommended a good private investigator. For the next 4 weeks, I collected everything, texts, pictures, even audio. It was all getting lined up for a divorce in our fault-based state. I managed to stay detached, just numb, going through the motions. Then, the day before I was going to file, something snapped. The coldness boiled over into pure rage. Amy got home late again and I lost it. I blurted that I hoped sleeping with her boss was worth it. She shot back, cruel and dismissive, that I was never there for her, that I was just lounging around at home all day, even if I was earning most of our income. She was nasty, almost like she'd rehearsed it. Then she laughed in my face about the divorce, saying she'd still get half my paycheck, and if I stayed, at least I'd get sex sometimes. She mocked me to my face and said, "Welcome to the 21st century, honey. A woman can have her cake and eat it too." She laughed again and went to bed. That was it. I took the next day off work, and when my lawyer asked how I wanted to serve the divorce papers, I had an idea. He warned me, judges hate cutesy or petty revenge. It risks assets and alimony. I didn't care. I wanted her humiliated. I ordered a special cake, rush delivery, with a huge photo of Amy and her boss locked in a pretty damning embrace printed right on it in frosting. The words, "Here's your cake, eat it," written across the top. The process server took it straight to Amy's office, in front of her boss, 3 close female friends, and a handful of other coworkers. I heard it was truly explosive. She screamed. The cake hit the carpet. Everyone saw the evidence. Her phone blew up calling me, but I ignored her. Her mom let me know she was staying there for now. For a while, the revenge felt amazing. But as hours passed, I wondered if I'd made a mistake. Had I seriously just damaged my case, and for what? Update 1. The past week's been a wild ride. I'm still off work, and my boss, great guy, told me to take 2 weeks, not just the one I asked for. I've divided our savings, put half in another account, updated payments, and frozen our credit. Everything the lawyer told me to do. No kids involved, thank God. Also, I started seeing a therapist who deals with infidelity fallout. After 2 sessions, I'm starting to feel less volatile, though I still get some dark lows. From here out, I'm stuck to my lawyer's advice. He said, "You can be happy or you can be right," and I finally get what he means. He also warned me, in our state, if Amy wants back into the house, I can't legally stop her, but I should record every interaction. She's still staying with her mom, but asked if she could come by on Saturday to talk. My lawyer wanted any conversation to happen in his office, with both attorneys present, but Amy doesn't have a lawyer yet. He said if she came here, get witnesses and record everything. I set conditions, witnesses, recording. She agreed. 2 mutual friends came, all of us recording. Amy walked in, tried to give me this stiff, guilty hug, but I just stuck my hand up and started the recorder. She was actually apologetic, said it felt like she was watching a movie of her own life, not living it. It was thrilling, a rush for her. She tried to explain how it happened. When her company brought employees back, she got close to 3 female coworkers, all a few years older, 2 divorced. The ringleader apparently picking Amy apart and psychoanalyzing me from stories she'd been told. These friends convinced Amy she deserved more, picked at our relationship, and declared I was a submissive guy. She needed a take-charge man, her boss. They gassed her up to cheat, basically. Of course, after the cake incident, everything flipped. Her boss ended the affair, demanded all contact be email only, said if she came near him again, he'd bring in someone else. The 3 witches instantly turned on Amy, yelled at her. Other coworkers wanted nothing to do with the drama, so no HR involvement. But now Amy told me she needed $5,000. I was confused. She had money, living at her mom's. Turns out the 3 women were blackmailing her. Pay up or HR finds out everything. Amy asked for help. I told her point blank, there's no fixing us, it's over. Get a lawyer for the divorce, and as for work, report herself, her boss, and her friends. It'd be less painful in the long run. If she paid them now, they'd just come for more. I said she obviously needed a therapist herself, because she'd gone from mocking me about having her cake to begging for help in under a week. She pointed out my cake stunt. I just shrugged and said, "Yeah, I'm seeing a therapist for that." She left soon after. No clue if she'll take my advice or keep playing out her workplace soap opera. Why is it always the coworkers? Update 2. My first week back at work went smoothly. Boss let us all leave early for Easter weekend. My old routines are kicking back in, therapy's helping, and I even stopped at a dog breeder while driving on country roads last weekend. The breeder, an Asian guy, showed me this loyal, brave, and expensive breed I'd never seen before, thinking about actually getting one. Amy was always picky about dogs, never liked any breed, so now it's just my choice. Amy still hasn't tried to come home, but she finally got a lawyer. Mine told me to brace myself. I'd been requested to attend couples therapy, just so her lawyer could say I was reasonable. I didn't want to, and my lawyer agreed it wouldn't change the inevitable divorce. But he said these requests are traps. If I refuse, I'll look unreasonable in court, so I should just grit my teeth and go in. He drilled me thoroughly. Admit no fault, don't take blame, don't agree to anything, including a second session. The session happened on Zoom. Me at home, Amy at her mom's, and a neutral counselor. The counselor tried to get us to split the blame for the affair, kept suggesting distance makes temptation. I didn't go for it. It takes 2 to create a rift in a marriage. In our case, it took Amy and her boss. The whole session was them pushing me to just own even 10% of the fault, so she could say we'd both failed, and then maybe rebuild. I didn't play along. At the end, the counselor asked why I was so cold. I told her, "Did you know infidelity creates the same mental damage as PTSD?" She replied, "I've heard something like that before." Session ended. Amy asked if we could do it again next week. I flat out said I didn't think that was a good idea. She pushed, but I just logged off. Now I'm preparing for whatever reasonable request comes next. So my lawyer can argue I'm a well-adjusted guy who had one flash of bad judgment. My revenge cake, not a consistent problem. That's it for this story. The story reflects how emotional pain can drive someone to drastic acts of revenge, but also reveals how such decisions can complicate an already painful situation. It's a chain reaction of betrayal, anger, and unintended fallout, with everyone's choices echoing far beyond the initial wound. Here is a question for you. When does revenge cross the line between catharsis and self-sabotage? Did Mark go too far? Or was dramatic payback exactly what the situation called for? What would you have done?